Greetings.
Hello, and Merry Boxing Day. This is your boy Ryan.
It's your boy Easy.
And you're listening to Turtle Soup, the internet native the world's only listener-supported podcast dedicated to the ongoing journey of the TMNT, all the way from the very beginning until my custom TMNT front piece comes in to replace my truck nuts.
Yeah. Because you got a trucksectomy, right?
I got a trucksectomy because I'm getting my truck. I'm custom ordering them. It's kind of a startup. Might take it to Shark Tank, but it's the front tail, and it goes on the truck.
That's brilliant.
But until then, and honestly, I don't know. It's coming from China. I don't know what I'm going to get back. We're going to be doing this for a while. So we're good to go.
Be a minute.
Glad everybody's here. Quick shout out to M. Wilson, who teased that he may be doing a cowboy hat steaming in the chat, in the Facebook message group for the podcast, which
that's
they
right.
just made for us.
I get that
and he's doing
occasionally.
He's doing it live, so that's happening. Also, another thing that is live is us. We're live on YouTube, so be sure to subscribe. Put us over the barrel. Hit the bell icon, get all the notifications, do all those great things. Really helps out the show. This episode, now I have to ask. So this episode is brought to us by a couple wonderful patrons, but I have to ask: is there a typo on this, Eric?
No, I don't. I do not believe so.
Okay, we're just gonna call it how we see it.
Yeah, I don't believe so.
This episode is brought to you by Drew Ivers and Danny O'Donnell. I'm familiar with the Jonathan O'Donnell. I'm not familiar with the Danny O'Donnell, so we'll have to see.
Yeah.
Maybe O'Donnell relatives from a distant shore. I mean, who knows? But thanks, guys, for the support, and we're doing this. We're doing this thing because of you guys, and this one's for y'all. So, speaking of this bud's for you, what are we cracking open today on Turtle Soup, Eric?
Today on Turtle Soup, we are cracking open the bag of tricks yet again, and we will be discussing Turtle Soup, the kind of anthology book that they released back in 1991, December of 1991 to be exact, with issue number 2 from volume 2. So, last episode we did volume 1. We've done, according to my notes and me going through all the old episodes, I think we had volume 2, number 4, and I think we reviewed it at one point back in the day. But we hadn't. My cool uncle didn't have access to these issues. Now I do believe, and I want to say it's Nick Douglas. I could be wrong, but Nick, correct me if I'm wrong, or if it was someone else who sent them. But they sent us the physical copies, and I've still got them. But I was also able to find the cool uncle copies as well, and that's why we're able to fully be able to review them here. In the flesh, or in the digital flesh. And so that's where we're at. December of 1991. And
it's fitting. We're in December of 2024.
That's what I thought. I figured it would be.
Here we go.
It would be a good, serendipitous, if you will.
So, I like that.
Yeah. So.
So, how you been? I'm gonna beat you to it. How you been?
Okay. I'm okay. I think. I'm glad to be done with Christmas. I have a lot of anxiety leading up to the holidays, and thankfully mine were good and no uneventful, which is how I prefer them.
No news is good news.
Correct. And it was different than the last few years, because normally Michael McDonald's gets to hang out with us, but he was doing his own thing this year, and so we were kind of left alone on Christmas Eve. So I don't know if you know about this, or if I've talked about it before. I'm sure I have, but some YouTube saint has compiled like VHS rips of old 90s commercials, Christmas commercials, the old 90s Nick at Night bumpers for the Christmas like episodes that they did, and then they would get all the Christmas episodes, and they have 6 and 7, 8 hour blocks of just programming.
That's wild,
dude. That's what I did after I got off the Kingdom work. I just put that on, and it made me feel so good. It was wonderful. And so I highly recommend if you're super nostalgic like us and just get in the feels. And if you love like Nick at Night and back in the 90s and stuff like that, it made for a wonderful Christmas Eve. And then Christmas was good. And then now all we have is New Year's. And then I'm owning a cat cafe. And that's going to be interesting. So my chair at my real job, it has covered in cat hair. Just covered in cat hair because I now have 4 cats, and it's only going to get worse. But I'm kind of using it as a marketing tool to where people are like, why don't you do that? And I'm like, well, there's no point because I own a cat cafe. You should come and give me money and support my family. And so
there you go.
Yeah. So that's kind of been it. I've been playing a ton of Horizon. I beat the first game in the DLC, and now I'm on Forbidden West and absolutely loving it. It's just fantastic. And really digging that. And then I think that's been about me. How about you?
Good. Christmas was good. Got August. He's been playing guitar now. Got him a pedal board and stuff. Ooh. He's really been enjoying that. His first distortion pedal, of course, a Big Muff, which is how it should be.
Of course.
He's enjoying all the extra gain, because that amp he's borrowing from you has distortion on it, but it's it's amp distortion. It's like kind of like overdrive.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh wow. So now he's just making a bunch of noise with it. So he's been doing that. Got my daughter a bunch of cool stuff, including like a TV for her room because she didn't have one. So we got that all hooked up.
That's a big step.
It is. Because August kind of walked his way into one because he started collecting all those consoles.
Oh,
there's like, to him, vintage consoles. So like PS2, PS3, and the old Xboxes. And so that just kind of wound up happening over there. But I always just assumed that Kara didn't want a TV in her room because she's very like, she has her tablet. She likes to play games on that. She likes to draw. She likes to do a lot of like stuff that's not very TV related. But then August kind of ran the background. And because we were talking about it, and then August, I guess Alicia went to August and was like, would Kara want a TV? And he's like, oh yeah, no, she does. And we're like, really?
Right.
And because Kara's the kind of person where like you might think getting something for her room like a TV is a good idea just for any kid, but she's very particular about her room and kind of the makeup and like what's on the walls, and like she has like a little like Kara feng shui going on in there. And I could see being like, no, we're gonna mount a TV in your room, and her be like,
no,
cool. I didn't want that. Like, and being like, kind of like, that sucks. That's like a bigger present for me, and it's not something I really wanted.
Right.
But he assured us that she did, and she did want it.
That's awesome.
Let's see. This was a Christmas of subterfuge, which was a fun Christmas. So another thing. So Kara got this lamp. It's one of those lamps that's like has like the 5 bendy arms that come up, and then it has all the multicolor like shades for the one of those, and my mom and dad saw one because they go, my parents go through furniture.
Oh really?
Like crazy. They're always, I don't know what it is. It seems like to me like time passes by and it's like, oh, can you help me move another couch in? All right, we're moving this couch from that room to this room. We're doing this and that. And I'm kind of like, bro, I've been on the same old ass couches, man. My parents are just like, new couch. Oh, we saw this. So they have this place they go, and they found that lamp, and they're like, she's like, well, would Kara like this lamp? And I'm like, oh man, again with the Kara's room, where I'm kind of like, man, like you get her a different lamp, and all of a sudden, whatever. So I actually ran a pretty cool thing. So they actually wound up like buying it, and they were like, oh, if she doesn't use it, we'll find someone else who wants it. And so I had her take a picture of it that was like, you couldn't tell it was in her house.
Yeah.
And then I went to Kara and I was like, hey, I saw this lamp online, and there was like a lot of controversy about this lamp. I made this whole story up.
Ooh,
and I was like, some people are like, oh, this lamp's so cool because blah, blah, blah. Other people are like, I don't know. It has like too many lights on it. Like, I don't like the chaos of all the colors. So I was kind of like, how do you feel? And she's like, oh, I really like it. I was like, all right, but decision time. Because this is how you know. Would you switch out the lamp that's in your room right now for this lamp? Do you like it that much? Or is it just like a, you know? And she's like, I'd take that lamp. I'd totally switch my lamp out for that. That's cool. And I'm like, oh, neat. Yeah, I'm like, honestly, me too. That's cool. And then, so then when it got presented to her at Christmas, she was very like,
Is that lamp?
And she looked right at me. She goes, "You said you found that lamp on Instagram." And I was like, I lied.
The means justifies the end.
Yeah. No, I had to get I got my dad some new like grill grates for his grill.
Yeah.
And I didn't want him to know, so I had to like do this subterfuge about like finding out what size they were.
Yeah.
But he was like always there. So like I was like holding my arm against the grates to see how long it was, and then measuring my arm when I got home, and like all this crazy shit. So it was one of those. It was like a Christmas of subterfuge and planning, which I always appreciate those.
Oh yeah.
That was good. I think the only other big thing going on with me, I'm playing Miles Morales.
Okay.
Finally, because I had played the first Spider-Man and whatever, and some of these nights lately, like I've been painting a lot. Like I've gotten 11 Marvel Crisis Protocol. I should send you the pictures.
Oh yeah, please.
I painted Captain America, Iron Man, Red Skull. Like I'm really having a good time with them. I'm like painting in a very different way. It's a lot more artistry, if that makes any sense, or a lot more painterly.
Okay.
Like I'm not using a lot of my old methods. I'm really trying to like mix paints and like bring natural hues up. I'm trying to bring contrast in different ways. So it's like whatever. But some nights it's like you get a stub of a night where like there's not enough time to get into the painting.
Yeah.
So when I have that go on, I've been playing Miles Morales, which is also Christmas themed. So that's weird.
Oh, it is.
It just kind of
true.
Seems to fit right in.
It's very serendipitous.
Yeah. No, and that's good. I'm trying to think. Oh, the last thing.
Uh-oh.
Man, I tell you what, I've been hurting because my watch battery died.
Uh-oh.
And it means more than
time?
It means most. So the whole thing is, I know analog watches are pretty much dead. I got this analog watch I really liked, because I was sick and tired of like, I just always want to know what goddamn time it is. Like I always want to know what time it is. Like I gotta know what time it is. I like to know, for different things.
Sure, different reasons.
Hate being late. I think a lot about my time. I think a lot about like, oh, I only have like, okay, so it's 5:30, so at 6 we're getting dinner, so I have like 30 minutes to do blah blah blah. Oh, what time is it now? Oh, 6:50. All right, that leaves me just enough time to do this. Like I'm just always on the time. Yeah. So I would use my phone to look at the time a while back. And the problem is, if you check your phone for the time, you get pulled in with all the push notifications and all the shit. And I would find myself just in my phone on Instagram or Facebook or something stupid when I went to go check the time originally, which is dumb. Now, this is years back I made the decision. So I've had this watch for a long time. But it worked. At first, I wore it and I didn't use it. And I was like, oh, man, like, am I too on the phone? But then I started using it, and I'm on my phone a lot less because I don't, because I'm not like checking it for the time. So it's really worked for the past like 2 or 3 years. It's really worked. Keep me off my phone.
Yeah.
Until your watch battery dies. And you order one and it says it'll be here in a week. And you're like, okay, I have been trying to look at my watch this whole last week. And it's so annoying. Like, because I can't wear it because the time's not accurate. So I like just the subconscious, like I'll just be sitting here, I'll be like, oh yeah, well, and I push my sweater back to see, and I just get a bare wrist, dude. Yeah.
Just get a bare wrist.
I just get a pale strip of skin, and I'm like, damn. And I've checked my phone, and then it's already started happening. I do the dumb thing. I'm like, oh, dumb wrist. Then I pull out the phone. Oh, what time is it? Oh, look, it's somebody text me. Right. And then I'm on the phone. Then all of a sudden I'm like the YouTube like shorts rabbit hole.
Right.
And I'm like, and I'm outside. And I'm like, it's been 30 minutes. Yeah. Like, what am I doing? The last shitty thing was I had to shave my beard.
Oh.
And it was because of lice.
Oh. Dang.
We have been battling lice in our family.
Yeah.
Since Halloween.
Jeez.
Like Kara brought it home. We've been doing the treatments. August had it, did the treatments. Alicia had a little bit in treatments, put the treatments in, wash out the treatments, follow up 5 days later, another treatment, another whatever at home. And like, it just kept coming, like for whatever reason.
Yeah.
So we actually went to a lice specialist, which I did not know existed.
You can go to school for that? I mean, I guess somebody has to.
Bro, when I called that place, they were like, oh, we use this like, heat treatment thing. Like we have like a 30-day guarantee. Like they have huge, like really great reviews online.
Yeah.
And I called to basically, because I don't have I never treated myself for anything because I don't have any hair on my head.
Right.
And I was told by the internet and other people that lice can't really get in beards. See, you're scratching your beard right now.
Now it's happening. I can't help it.
I was told they can't, that like body lice that get in like beard hair or pubic hair are different than ones that get in the hair on your head. Right. So I called this woman, and bro, this was no joke.
Yeah.
She started immediately like contact tracing my daughter. Like I thought it was just gonna be a matter of like, oh yeah, so my 2 kids and my wife, they have lice. We need to get rid of it. Tell us what to do. She's like, stop right there. Let's go back. I'm like, what? And she's like, to your daughter. Now, when did she first contract? She had me connecting to all the relatives she had been around, all that, and I'm like, bro. And we got through all that, and wound up spending like $600 for them all to go and like get their hair ultra treated and whatever. We had to bag up everything that their hair could have come in contact with,
right,
for 4 days in plastic bags, or wash it on high heat, dry it on high heat in like half loads. So one whole day of last weekend, all I did was wash clothes.
Goodness gracious.
I just washed all the clothes and all the beds and beddings and all the whatever, because I'm free. But then on the phone, she goes, yeah, and do you have a beard? I was like, yep, but I'm bald. Don't worry about it. And I have a beard. I'm good. She goes, how much of a beard do you have? I'm like, a medium-sized beard. I mean, she goes, well, if you really want that 30-day guarantee, you're gonna have to shave. And I'm like, well, how low are we talking? She goes, the palm of your hand. And I was like, oh God. So begrudgingly, I shaved it. It's starting to come back a little.
A
little bit.
Well, that $600 doesn't sound so bad when you think about per hair or per lice. It kind of
no, that's true.
That might help it ease that pain a little bit.
Yeah, but so they got it all done and everything like that. And I was, and then the best part is you have to shave.
Yeah.
And then your kids are like, you look weird. I don't even recognize you. And I'm like, you want to know why?
Yeah.
I'm like, this is like called like I care about you.
Right.
Because they weren't in my beard. My beard wasn't itching.
Right.
But she's like, oh no, it's a common misconception. Like they can totally get in beards. And I'm like, but the internet, she's like, I'm an expert. And I'm like, fair. And I go, well, do I have to shave? And she goes, do you hug your daughter? And I'm like, yeah. She goes, is she shorter than you? I'm like, yes, you could have lice. And I'm like, well. So I did it. So yeah, that's me. Fun Christmas.
Yeah, it sounds
lice
like it.
Battles. No watch.
No watch.
No pillow. One pillow, no sheets.
One pillow, no sheets. You're on today.
And no facial hair when it was getting the coldest, by the way. I shaved my face getting into the coldest day of the year so far. And that was great. But yeah, that's about it.
You mentioned the YouTube shorts rabbit hole. And I forgot to mention that I finally started doing that again after my immediate shutdown when I did it on Turtle Soup, where I was posted about our episodes coming out, and the first response, like 5 seconds after I did it, was someone said, "Who cares?" And that just like laid me out, because I was like, okay, I guess I'm not making these anymore. But I started making them on my Easy Opens channel.
Back up. Tell me, I was looking at a comment.
No, you're good.
Who said who cares to what you did?
Okay, so a while back, probably like a year or so ago, I was doing these elaborate kind of shorts for the channel. And I think the first couple I did, somebody comes in almost immediately after I post it and says, "Who cares?" And like, it was just me being like, "Hey, on this week's episode, we're talking about this and that," and someone just go, "Who cares?" And it just shut me down.
Like
like I was laughing, like I wasn't crying and like cutting myself.
But it still did it though.
It still did it though.
But it still did it.
Yeah.
It still had you like off. You're like, I'm out.
I guess I'm like, yeah, I guess who cares? Okay. But for
Wow.
easy opens, I started doing it again, and because I got one of our neighbors gave us a short box of 45s, like all 80s, 70s, 80s, 90s hair metal, and so I was like, oh, that'd be kind of fun to just do like a short review, and they're all picture sleeves, and so I'm like, that's geeks me out. I love that. So
that's cool.
So on the Easy Opens channel, I've been putting out short reviews of my long form review records as well, and then also the 45s, going through those and talking about them. So it's pretty fun doing that, but you know, you're just confined to that little space and just of your phone, the what is it, 9x16 or whatever it is.
Yeah,
and,
just like that. Yeah, that's that size.
Yeah, but it's a lot of fun. So if you're so inclined, head over to Easy Opens and give me a follow and tell me who cares. Just comment who cares.
Oh shit, who cares? Dead ass. I love it. You're like, haha, I'm not hurt. I'm not doing those anymore.
But no,
I'm out.
Yeah. Well, what it made me do is it made me rethink, maybe I shouldn't just do this. Like and I just haven't come up with a good idea as to what we could do for shorts.
Got it.
So I was like, okay, maybe no one cares that we're talking about what we're doing. But let's see. Real quick in the chat, I saw M posted a Turtles Come Out and Fight That, which I wrote down. But let me make sure that I got it right. I think M said millennials with hot takes on Home Alone movies and their social commentary. So, yeah. We're gonna have to put that on the list, and we're gonna I've got a list of them going, so we have to go back to the ones that we haven't done and get those.
We should do a chef special and just like knock a ton of those out or something like that.
Yeah, we could. We'll have to get that figured out. But yeah, again, guys, email us with your Turtles Come Out and Fight That, your Shell Shocks, your what was the other one we do? Oh, Dims the Rules.
Dims the Rules? Yeah, no, we're getting back in it. You know, it's hopefully things should plane out a little better in the new year. I'm hoping.
Yeah, I have good
for more
I have high
continued
hopes
soup.
because we are. Let's see. I think now we have one more bag of tricks that we got to do, and then I gotta tap my dad for MGM, and then I want to say there might be one more thing, and then after that we're into the new millennium, and
it's one of those things. Like I'm like, even like, I'm still looking forward to it. At the same time, I'm like so like tired of promising it.
I know
the big thing that we're trying to do, guys, is our issue is when we hit 2000, when we get into the comics and the 2003 series, we do not want to look back. Like as much, there's some stuff we'll find Bag of Tricks, and it'll be almost like retro when we do it.
Yeah,
but we don't want to leave like these annoying things like when we're in that vibe.
Right.
That's kind of what we decided. So we're trying to get a handful of these things done before we hit that up, and we appreciate your patience with it, and stuff. But I want to be in the 2000s like so bad.
Yeah, it's right around the corner. We got Volume 4. We got IDW, DreamWorks stuff. We got the 2007 movie and comics, and then before you know it, in 2003, all 7 seasons of that, I think.
Oh man,
yeah, and then before you know it, we'll be at 2012, and that'll be like a whole like full circle of where we started. You know.
I don't know if I'm ready for 2012 for full circle, but it'll be fun.
It will be
sweet. So you ready to get into this comic and get it going?
Yeah, I do. One more behind the curtains thing. Some reason my third monitor. I know this sounds like some privileged stuff, but
Eric's third leg isn't working.
It doesn't work anymore. And then coincidentally, my third monitor went out. So I think there's a correlation. Causation doesn't lead to correlation, but here it.
But I mean,
use your imagination. But yeah, so it just decided to not work on me tonight. So I am kind of have a weird setup going on, so please bear with us, but I think we'll be able to make it work. So yeah, so all right, let me see what we got going on. All right, so we are talking about Turtle Soup Volume 2 Book 2, and this is from December of
Volume 2. Yep.
Yeah, it's December of 1991, and yeah. What do you think about this cover, Ryan?
You know, it stays in keeping with the Turtle Soup look. They kind of have a standardized look now. And obviously the kind of the center picture in the cover is definitely showing us that they are going to follow up on the TMNT Attack comic from issue 1 and stuff like that, where you got the turtles, fighting a T-Rex with a Brontosaurus. Brontosaurus
or Diplodocus, or
Diplodocus.
Yeah, sorry,
chilling in the background. I think they call it a Brontosaurus in the comic, but it's chilling, and they're in front of someone's house with a porch.
Yeah,
it's kind of strange. There's southern. Like a house with like a porch. Yeah, it looks very southern, and then there's like it looks like woods. And I'm like, doesn't this happen in the city in the comic? But hey,
yeah,
covers and comics often two very different things. Yeah. But in general, yeah, no, I like it. I like it.
I think it's neat. And it's got the I forget the name of it, but it's the mixed media, like that smoke behind it, that marble thing. They were big into doing that around this time. And that's really cool. And then who's in the masthead? Can we see that? Is that just one of the turtles? Leo? Yeah, okay.
Leo best in the sword, yeah.
Yeah. So
Mirage Publishing.
So
250 pennies in the US and another 125 pennies in Canada.
There you go. So again, Turtle Soup is sort of a this comic book is an anthology type series.
Yeah,
just a weird collection of short stories that Kevin and Peter's friends were just asked or just offered to do if they wanted to, and they just compiled them in this. So it's not really necessarily canon by any means, but it's just a fun little book. And some stuff pops back up occasionally, and you never know when and where it will, but it does. And because early Mirage is just wild, so you never know. But yeah, so here we go. Let's see.
You want to take the first story, or do you want me to? The second one is the part. The third one is the part 2. So if you want me to do this, so basically I might do the first and you do the second.
Okay, that sounds good.
Feel good with that?
Yeah, I do. Let's see. I was trying to see because there's a little blurb there that I forgot to read earlier, but I think it's just saying that
it's all the disclaimers.
Yeah, all the disclaimers. So there's nothing there because
there's no like introduction letter to this one, sadly.
Yeah. So sometimes they put stuff there, but this time they did not. So all right.
I think they had one for the big like the volume 2 number 1 like relaunch kind of, and then now they're just running it.
Okay.
So this is a Mark Martin comic. It's called Velveeta in The One That Got Away. Now, this is a continuation of sorts from the first comic scene in book 1, which was Toyota.
Yeah.
So this is Velveeta. I take it this is supposed to be Donatello, because they talk a lot about science.
Oh, okay.
The velvet, you know what I mean? Like, kind of
think of that, but yeah, you're right.
Yeah. So yeah, I think he's trying to do all 4 turtles here.
Okay.
Because I think Toyota was Michelangelo.
That makes sense.
So and I think it was
because he had the X-ray glasses and stuff, and it was a toy.
Yeah. So I think that was Mikey. This is Donnie. I gotta say, number 1, I love the coloring.
Oh,
the coloring style on this is like really cool, very smooth.
Yeah, it's almost watercolory in a digital way.
Yeah, it's just it feels very modern even to now standards.
Yeah, it did. It felt like whenever I was reading it, that it did feel like, oh, this could have come out yesterday.
Yeah, it just feels very like the gradients are smooth. It's just very good.
Mm-hmm.
So The One That Got Away. So basically it says our story begins as any fisherman will tell you, fishing is an art, and what makes a great artist? Practice, practice, practice. Let's join Velveeta and his pocket fisher dude, shall we? And then we see who's supposed to be Donnie, I believe, rolling up with a fishing pole to a lake that is hazardous.
Mm.
And he explains that it's so nice because with everybody coming around these days, it's always hard to find a nice, quiet spot to fish. But thanks to radon styroplastics, he can come out here anytime he wants and fish because it's all good because it's all polluted.
Yep.
he gets a snag and he catches a gigantic mutated fish with 6 eyes. Yes.
5 or 6 eyes. Yeah,
Well, you see 6 in the bottom right.
that's right.
They cut off one there because
I
perspective.
gotcha. Yeah.
But yeah, he's got 6 eyes. He swallows Velveeta up. Just go. Then you flip the page and we get to meet Matchstick, who is obviously Mark Martin's version of Splinter in this version of him, where he looks a lot like a combination of like Mickey Mouse and Goofy.
Yeah, I can see that.
Like it's a kind of a 1-2 combo. He's chasing the ever elusive triple jointed red crested hopping shrimp, which is another mutated product of this lake. And he's chasing him. And he gets away and he's like, oh my God. And then he sees the big fish that Donnie caught or Velveeta caught. And he's like, oh, it's a new mutation. And from inside, Velveeta's like, Matchstick, is that you? And they kind of start this whole argument about how Matchstick's like, Velveeta, don't hurt the specimen. He's like, dude, I'm trapped inside this thing. And it's like, no, whatever. And he goes off on this long thing about like, what if all these innovators had said, I'm tired of being inside a fish, or I'm tired of, what was it like?
George Washington Carver was sick of peanuts, or
what if Marconi never invented the radio? You know, because his daughter could be exposed to rock music, like all these things. And he's doing this whole thing, and basically the fish throws him up because he's like, I'm sick of this shit. And then the truly funny part about this is basically like the fish speaks in perfect English to Matchstick, like, look, you suck. I'm not letting you study me. I'm out of here. And he leaves.
Yeah.
And Matchstick is very upset over this. And they basically laugh at saying 1 fish, 2 fish, red fish, blue fish. That's what Matchstick says. And then he says screw fish.
Yeah.
Is what Velveeta says.
Screw fish.
Screw fish. And they both laugh. And then gone fishing. That's the ending.
That's the end of it. Gone fishing.
But yeah, I mean, pretty good, short, kind of funny. The dialogue with Matchstick is the real, like, attractive thing here. But I like the art a lot.
I think the art is the attractive thing, the thing that attracts you, and then the thing you're talking about, the back and forth, that is like, oh, okay, you're getting your money's worth out of this. And because the coloring and everything like we talked about earlier is just fantastic, and it just makes this story so much more enjoyable. And then to have something that with a little substance to it, really makes it worthwhile. So I definitely like this way more than the previous iteration with Toyota. But,
I think this was way better than Toyota for some reason. I think it just looked better.
Yeah, I agree. So, all right, moving on. And then, guys, also keep in mind, we're going to rank our favorite stories from this.
We're going to rank them. Yeah.
So please keep in mind and also play along at home, if you will, and let us know because, that's how we do it here. So, all right, the next story is Mid-Afternoon of the Living Dead by Dave Garcia and Justin Hampton. And so I love this. The art looks cool, but it looks a little bit old school. It looks old school art, but a little bit of new school coloring, just a little bit in the 90s, maybe. Like it's a little crisper and cleaner, even though the art is kind of...
The art is, in my opinion, is very classic horror. Reminds me a lot of like the old like Tales from the Crypt comics. And stuff like, so it is very like horror based,
right?
Kind of an old throwback to all that.
Oh yeah, but I think the coloring just is a little bit more precise than it would have been back then. To what it's homaging and stuff. So that juxtaposition of both of those dynamics is really neat to me. So we have this character right here in the top left. His name is Abner Cadaver. He is a zombie horror host, apparently. And I absolutely love this. I think this is fantastic, and I want to see more of him in Turtles books desperately. But yeah, so this story opens up in a graveyard called Everrest Cemetery. And a mysterious meteor has just crashed, and it's also a full moon. So Abner is saying that, obviously we know something's going to happen here. Like, you don't just have all these things like a graveyard, a full moon,
Yeah.
and a meteor hitting at the same time, like, and nothing happened. So, turns out that the meteor is actually filled with worms. And so they start crawling out of this thing. Oh, let me scroll down a little bit so you can see. Oh, too far. There we go. In the bottom right, they're all climbing out of there because he thought it was a keg at first for some reason, and then it's like, oh nope, just worms coming out. And so then we cut to this sort of the equivalent to a storm chaser, but with a meteor shower chaser, I guess, van, and the two characters that are in there are Kevin and Peter, apparently, which are homages to Eastman and Laird. And so they get out and they're looking around. They're trying to find, what fell out of the sky. And all of a sudden you start to see a zombie hand come out of the grave and more things. And they keep talking about wanting to, what do they say? Eat human flesh. Is that what they're saying?
Eat flesh. Eat flesh.
They're not wanting brains. They want flesh.
They want, all of it.
They have a different kind of palate that they're trying to satisfy. So, you get some gruesome shots. Oh, sophisticated. Absolutely. So you get some shots that could lead to some gruesome stuff, but it's pretty tame. But you see presumably Kevin behind the steering wheel getting his neck snapped or about to be taken a bite out of. Something's happening to Kevin over here, and that's really neat. And it kind of got me a little bit. It elicited an emotion from me that I was not used to seeing in Turtles books, where I'm like, oh, like this is. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like we're not used to seeing a lot of horror in these books. They get close, but nothing kind of like this. And I was like, oh, this is about to get real. And so that was pretty cool. And then we cut to all of a sudden, we cut to our boy Abner Cadaver again reading a paper, and he's there with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and their colored bandanas. So that's very rare to see, especially in '91. With Mirage, but he is saying that let me see, I'm checking my notes because remember I'm all over the place here. So they're fishing. The turtles are fishing again. We have a fishing thing. Like for some reason there's
fishing must have been like in the zeitgeist this
had
time
to have
or
been.
Something.
Had to have been. But the turtles are fishing nearby, and like all of their bait is gone. Like it's just not doing anything. They're kind of just like really upset about it.
Well, what's funny is like they don't know where the bait is, and then they're like, "What bait?" And there's like, "Oh, it was in the can." And then Mikey's like, "Oh, dude, I thought those were anchovies." So,
okay.
All the chum that was in that can,
that's disgusting.
And thought it was anchovies, and they're like, "Well, now we're screwed. Like we don't have any bait."
Oh, that's horrible.
That is nasty.
Yeah. So, just then they see a guy that looks like a farmer walking up to him, and they assume he's a local. So they start calling out to him, but he just keeps saying eat flesh. And so the turtles, before they know it, are surrounded by a lot of slack-jawed yokels just zombified all around them. And they realize very quickly that they're zombies. And so that's kind of neat. And I love that who was it that said it? Because I think it's either Raph or Mike, which I'm glad that it's one of the two, because they would probably be the ones to recognize that, especially back then. Like out of all the turtles, they would be the ones to recognize what a zombie is based on their video or entertainment that they watch. So then we cut to some fight scenes with Leonardo just slicing heads off, which is just hilarious.
Well, they get to do it because these guys say smush. Instead of clang.
Exactly. So
you think about it, like they get to actually like do this now,
right?
Which is kind of cool.
That is very cool. And then we get to see Donnie doing one of your favorite things, where he just like wrecks people's face with the bow, and so that's awesome. And they pretty much make short work of like all of them pretty quickly. And so then before we know it, we're back with Abner Cadaver, and he ends the story with the turtles using the alien zombie, just the worms and all the zombie stuff as bait to go fishing, and that's pretty much it. That's the end of the story.
I do love that they are like the worms are somewhat sentient, because like because Mikey's like, settle down, you, and in the little can they're like, eat flesh, and one goes, ouch, and the
Yeah.
other one goes, eat flesh. Like they're like these like little guys, and they're like,
Right.
get out of here.
Yeah.
So they basically like put them to death by being bait for their fish.
Right. Which I think is great. And
Abner Cadaver is a pretty good name for a character.
fantastic, especially for a horror host name.
Yeah.
Like that's just excellent. And yeah, it's funny because I always thought that it was just I didn't realize that there were more than just Elvira and we had Dr. Paul Bearer, but like
Yes.
for a long time I didn't realize that there were more regional horror hosts.
Regional horror hosts.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and, like,
man. Everybody kind of had their guy.
Yeah. That was something fascinating to me. And still to learn today, like what different ones are and things like that, and then how they influenced certain cartoons. Like we were watching I think it was a Knickknacks on YouTube about Count Duckula, and he starts talking about how the narrator at the beginning opens and closes the episodes, and that whatever he says or does is referencing some regional horror host that he was familiar with. And I'm like, that's just fascinating. I love that. So
that is really cool.
But I would totally watch a series hosted by Abner Cadaver. That's just fantastic.
Yeah.
So, all right. So moving on we have a continuation, a part 2 of a story we read last episode. So take it away, Ryan.
Yeah, so the basically on that one, if you didn't catch that episode, is it's very short. It's this kind of Elvis looking guy from the future. He's kind of like a robot Elvis, like I already know what you call him. Basically in some kind of weird incel future where there's a random dating commission, he is assigned a random date by this woman, who is very attractive, and she shows up, and he's like, "Oh, golly gee, I'm not even ready yet." There she is, in miniature form, looking like little orphan Annie over there.
A little bit,
and she's like, "Oh wow," and the guy's like, "Yeah, I'm trying to study to be basically a time traveler," and she's like, "Oh wow, that's really cool," and he's like, "Yeah, using this time travel gauntlet, I can, when I learn it, I can go anywhere I want." She's like, "Oh, by pressing these buttons, beep, boop, beep." And it's like, "No." And then they get transported to the Turtles timeline. And then he's like, "Nope, no big deal. I'm just going to pop us right back." And he presses some more buttons. And instead, dinosaurs from the dinosaur times show up and start wreaking havoc. And that's kind of where the comic cuts off.
Yeah.
So now we're back. And yeah, this is a Michael Dooney on story and art. Lettering was Mary Keller, and colors Steve Levine. This is very much a old TMNT Adventures crew. We noted on this last episode. It's the same team that did Turtles Attack Part 1, obviously. And yeah, seeing those names together, I'm like, that's Adventures theme. But there is a thank you at the bottom. Special thanks to Peter Laird for inking all the dinos.
Right.
So all the dinosaurs were inked by Peter Laird, which is interesting. It's like a guest star, I guess, because he's really good at it. And I don't know. That's just kind of neat.
Yeah.
So there's not a whole lot to this. The turtles are in the middle of fighting two dinosaurs. One is a T-Rex, and one I think they do call a Brontosaurus. I thought they called it that in the comic, but
I know they at least talk about it being a plant eater, so an herbivore.
Yeah, like Eric and I are more on the Diplodocus thing, but if you're a dino scientist, then let us know if we're right or wrong.
Right.
Because honestly, names and stuff about dinosaurs have changed since 1991.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I know that like Brontosaurus has kind of gone out of favor and Diplodocus has come in, so I don't know what that all is. As science advances,
all I know is that the Diplodocus that I had from the Dino Riders line was green, and the Brontosaurus from that line was brown. And this is very decidedly a green herbivore.
Okay, well then so, I'm gonna take your word for it.
I think that's it.
You know, Dino Riders taught you more than dinos than me, because we both seen Jurassic Park. So
oh yeah, absolutely.
Now you got one up on me with Dino Riders though.
Exactly. Thanks.
So they're kind of like they're hanging on to these guys trying to fight them. There is an old school reference here from Donnie. He says, "Fighting dinosaurs in the past was bad enough, but this is ridiculous." and that, as the editor lets us know, is a reference to Tales of the TMNT number 7.
Yep.
When they get mixed up with Renee
Mm-hmm.
and go fight dinosaurs in the past.
Yeah.
So pretty cool reference for the time. And they introduce, I like this splash that it opens up with, where you have each turtle is introduced at the bottom.
Yeah,
in that. Small panels. Cool breakout. Like, I don't know, kind of neat. And anyway, so you turn a page, you kind of find they keep trying to fight these dinosaurs. Really cool, like dinosaur art, a lot of fighting. And of course, in the top left of page 14 or page 3 of this comic, we do see our 2 characters again, which that main guy's not named. The triple unibrow, whatever his name is. But they're obviously freaked out. At one point, I think it's kind of funny because Leo starts writing the Diplodocus.
Yeah.
And one of the turtles says, "Hey, Leo, you're not helping, you know." And he's like, I know. And he's just writing it.
Yeah, he's just on it.
Meanwhile, Donnie is trying to like fend off from this like, T-Rex by himself. He's like, "You're not helping." He's like, "I know. This is kind of cool though. I'm riding the Diplodocus."
Yeah, you gotta enjoy
they get back. Yeah, they get back in the fight because the thing about the Diplodocus is he's not like super fighty, but he's a Diplodocus, so he's stepping. Wherever he steps is really dangerous.
Oh yeah.
And the T-Rex is the one going for you with the mouth.
Right.
And so it's like between the 2 of them, it sucks, So they're trying to get it going, and we see our girl, our blind date girl, basically being like, "Look, like this isn't fair. These turtle monsters are trying to help us, and now they might get hurt." And he's like, "I know, but like I just got this thing figured out because then I can like get the dinosaurs back to their time, and then we can leave and like whatever." And they're fighting and stuff. But there is a moment where the turtles are basically like getting their ass whipped, and the guy again says like, "Sorry for the inconvenience. I think I've got things worked out." And they're like, "Well, you better get it worked out, bro, because like we're dying here." And he does. He makes both dinosaurs disappear. And then Raph, a little too Raph, is like, "You're in serious trouble, monkey puss."
I don't know what that means.
I dare you to try to bring Monkey Puss back.
Yeah, good luck. Yeah,
like, let's take Monkey Puss back.
Yeah, no, don't
like just you're just like a common setting. You're like, yeah. Watch your mouth, Monkey Puss.
Yeah.
And let's just be honest, you could say that to the wrong person, and that would be a whole different insult, and you'd probably get your ass whipped more than you would normally.
Absolutely.
So yeah.
So don't do that.
Don't do that. That's not the advice of Turtle Soup. Those aren't the feelings of Turtle Soup.
Absolutely
Do not try to take Monkey Puss back.
Yeah, no.
That won't work.
Leave that in the past with the dinosaurs.
Keep that in the past where it belongs with the dinos. And of course, the other turtles are like, "Easy, Raph, chill out." And he's like, "No way, I'm gonna kill him, man." And then just as he's going in, your boy's like, "Well, no need for violence. We'll just be on our way." And he goes to press the button, and then what I can only describe as like my childhood wet dreams of a toy that never existed comes out of this thing.
Oh, okay.
It is.
Yeah.
Doesn't this look like when you were a kid, everything you wanted in a toy?
Yeah, I can see that.
Right now.
Absolutely.
Like, it has the gun, but it's also a dinosaur it's like a robot. And also there's like missiles coming off of it. And it has like barbs on it. And it also has an arm that looks like a cat of nine tails. And also there's hoses. And also, like, for some reason that all just looks like, if that was a toy, I'd be like, top of the Christmas list.
Oh yeah. No,
I don't care what it does.
Yeah, to me it looked like the first thought was Truckosaurus from The Simpsons.
Yeah,
which, was the monster truck thing. Yeah, and then I went and looked
looks
it up.
A lot
and I
like
was
that.
Oh yeah, no, it dead ass looks just like that. So yeah, but in line with, it's the same thing. It's like, yes, you want.
There's just a lot going on, and it's kind of materializing out of this portal on the gauntlet, so you don't even see all of it. But I absolutely that's the panel for me. I love that art.
Yeah,
with their own version of the Kirby crackle, like that bubbly crackle that's going around the outside.
Yeah.
And a lot of the striations on the art, the coloring, kind of again that airbrush style coloring, all all the black work on that guy. I absolutely love that. That to me also feels very Peter Laird to me. Like when I think of Laird's art style, I see this guy coming out. Something like a more modern Jack Kirby. I don't know. I can't say enough about it. It was very unexpected. And I think it's like the highlight of this comic really is this last page.
Oh yeah.
With this guy.
Yeah, I think it's pretty neat. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, but anyway, what'd you think?
It's fine. Nothing really happened. Is basically the same thing happened in the first story. It's just again, but from the future.
Just a fight issue.
So yeah. It's neat. I always love new characters, especially time travel characters, because they bring their own set of just issues and just dilemmas. So they're better than a villain of the week to me, but you just never know, and so I kind of like the uncertainty of the time traveler antagonist, and so I definitely appreciated that here. And then I just love this thing, like you're saying, like this thing just looks fantastic. Get out of my dreams, get into my car, you know what I mean? So all right, so moving on to let's see here, Tales of Alternate Turtles on the Moon. And this is by Don Simpson and Steve Levine.
Yeah.
So this is an interesting one.
And am I wrong, really fast? If we go down to Don Simpson's signature,
okay,
does that look like it says Simpson 89 to you?
Let me see.
Can you zoom in on that? Simpson 80. It looks like either 89 or 87.
It looks like 89.
That's interesting.
So he probably did this in 89
for the original Turtle Soup.
Could have been, and they just had to rearrange the order of what stories they had, because I think Dooney did a forward in the first issue and was talking.
He did say that there was time.
Something that had to get juggled around, because we immediately get a part 2 to this in this issue, the same issue.
True.
So,
very true.
Yeah. So that could be why that is the case, Mom. But So we got these turtles on the moon, and they are not your normal turtles. They look a lot older. One of them smoking a cigar. The other one has like weird circle glasses and a hat.
Well, it's got a fez on.
Yeah. Yeah,
it looks like one has a trucker hat and one has a fez.
Right, and they're just wearing space helmets, and the rest of their bodies are okay. They're impervious. Well,
no back suit. No.
Yeah, no. However, other people that were with them behind them have the full on spacesuit. So turtles in space. Let's see here. So they start recounting how they got here, which is really it all just starts at the pub. And so they're at the pub talking, and they get to talking about how they're tired of playing second fiddle to the mutant ninja variety of turtles. And then all of a sudden they are approached by Captain Scalybeard, and he has a proposition for them. Apparently, he heard that somebody buried stolen Martian treasure on the moon, and longtime Turtletarians might be familiar with this concept. We know it locally as moon money.
The moon money.
Yeah, the moon money. So, so this is
interplanetary gold on the moon, boys.
There you go, aka moon money. And so, they start talking to him, and he's like saying, he's telling the whole thing, and he's saying that I got it from the guy over there, and he told me the story that all the thieves that there were pirates going after it, and all these thieves turned on each other, and the only one to escape is this guy over here who told Scaly about it and gave him the map. And the turtles are hesitant because why doesn't he just get it himself? Why doesn't this pirate just go back and get it himself? But Scaly shows them that he's not ship shape, as he says, which, as you can see on the image, he has a knife in his back. Yeah. And so actually I think it's here. Here's the knife in his back. There we go.
Yeah.
And yeah, so the turtles are like, okay, that's interesting. They're thinking about it for a second. They're like, no, we're going to decline. We don't want to have anything to do with this. And then before they know it, they're bonked over the head. And they wake up in space aboard the, let me get there. Where is it?
It's called the Dead something.
Yes, it is the
Death
Jolly
Trap.
Death Trap. Yeah,
Jolly
sorry.
Death Trap.
I was trying to get there on the other, because the monitor, normally I would have my monitor up. And
Normally has a
this
third
was
monitor.
smooth. But I'm on my back foot. But yeah, so they wake up and they're like, "Oh, the accommodations. This is great. Wait, where are we?" And then all of a sudden they realize they're not on Earth anymore. They're in space, and they're on the Jolly Death Trap, which looks like a wooden spaceship version of Noah's Ark. And I kind of love it because it's just absurd.
very like Buck Rogers, but made out of wood.
Yeah,
it's weird. Like, I'll just never forget that like Wookiees in the extended Star Wars universe fly on ships made of wood.
Oh, I forgot about that.
And I'm like,
yeah,
what? And they're like, oh, but like the sap in the trees, like they bond when they're put into outer space, and like they like seal off the vacuum of space. And I'm like, but it's porous because it's wood.
Right.
I don't.
Yeah.
I just remember thinking like, I'm a Star Wars fan, but like that's too much for me.
Yeah. I mean, even if you say a long, long time ago, like that still doesn't in a galaxy.
Yeah, that doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. Yeah. But it does land on the moon.
It does
the same way that that SpaceX ships land. Because they come back down the same way. And that goes to and this is an example, friends, of what you do to your friends whenever they are very into something and you're kind of okay with it, but you let them know that you've listened to them multiple times about it, and it stays in there, and it's a callback.
Starship.
Yeah,
you know about it.
So there you go. So that was for you, Ryan.
Did you hear that thing where like they brought the heavy, like the actual booster for Starship back to a landing, and they caught it on their little catch platform, but the sonic boom it let off was like really fucking intense, and now they're looking into like if this is a regular thing, like what would like it could damage structures in nearby towns,
right? Oh,
because the sonic boom is that strong. And I'm like, you guys couldn't have known that from math.
Yeah, you didn't have somebody thinking about that, like
you think, oh yeah, like when this gigantic thing comes back, it's gonna like make a sonic boom that's like gonna like make buildings fall down like in like a year in another part of town. It's like you didn't think about that scientifically.
What this goes to is it goes to show you it's the same thing you learn when you become an adult and you work in the real world, that like you realize that nobody knows what they're doing at all.
No.
And
there are no adults.
No adults. And and then in the church, a lot of times with graphic design, you often wonder, you're like, no, there's no way that we're putting a shirt out that's for the people that get baptized that says I got my faith wet. You don't do that. You got to have somebody that's depraved that says you do not put the shirt out that says I got my faith wet.
Oh my God.
You do not do that.
Yep.
And so you have to have somebody that's questioning, like hire somebody who's not a scientist, who's just a science fiction guy or girl, gal, person, whatever. Have them in there and ask them. Okay,
you need someone there who what you need someone around. Well, I mean, Elon Musk doesn't give a shit. He just bought himself a government job, so he doesn't fucking care. But God, talk about a turnaround on that guy. But what's funny is like they need someone who's smart, but also is there to basically talk shit all the time.
Right. Yeah.
That's who you need.
Absolutely.
You need someone who's basically like he'd be at like the haters ball, with the whole like Dave Chappelle like haters ball.
Yeah.
But he's also like a scientist and engineer.
Right.
So he just sits back and he's like, that spaceship gonna blast so much goddamn air, it's gonna blow everything up. Yeah, asshole. And then you're like, oh, is he right? Let's run that. Oh, God damn it, he is right. Okay, we got to change this up.
Yeah.
Like,
exactly.
How that thing gonna want to fly on its belly when the tiles are on the wrong side, dumbass? And they're like, are the tiles on the wrong side? Oh shit! Like, they need that guy.
Yeah,
basically
absolutely.
a Naismith, who can be there and be like, you guys think about this?
A Naismith. That's a real thing, right? Like that's someone who just says nay, but they're just like, is that
they're
like
not a horse?
No,
they're not a professional horse, but No.
Professional whores.
You said someone who just sits there and says nay.
I know.
No, that's the thing. Like Naismiths were, they were bigger back in history.
Sure.
You know, you would, back more in like the medieval times and later, you'd have somebody on the court that was basically like a smartass who is like, yeah, but what about this? Yeah, what about that? Like,
oh, I would have loved that job.
Oh, dude, tell me. I think every business ought to have that guy. It should be like federally mandated. Like who is your Naismith? Like who's your red team guy? Like who's your like? I'm just gonna poke holes in this guy.
What's stopping us from starting our own consultation firm, where we just find other people who are just as much of a smartass as we are, and we just and we farm these people out to these.
But they have the knowledge. Like they're just as wicked as we are, but they have the like. I have 5 doctorates in physics, and we're like, perfect. Okay, right. You need to go to NASA or SpaceX, and you need to be that guy there.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. See,
that'd be interesting.
But we have to institute a clause that says that like they can't be mean to us. Like, you can't like, or at least within reason. Like you get one maybe. And then
yeah.
Because we don't
we need to like install like a weird like rules of robotics, which will go wrong, where we basically tell them like, don't ever attack us. Only attack us if it doesn't conflict with rule 1, and something really complicated where like they keep breaking the rules, and we're like, but why?
Right? Yeah,
something like that.
Exactly. Yeah.
And the thing is, we don't have a Naismith to tell us that this won't work.
Right, but see that
should probably be our first. If we're trying to do this for real, our first thing would be to find the Naismith for us.
Yeah,
and have them Naismith us.
Right,
until we probably don't open the business we're talking about.
Probably, and so that never gets going. Yeah, so then we're just back to where we are now, which is with the turtles on this ship.
Oh,
and so the turtles also have some very scantily clad, buxom ladies that are the
lady pirates.
The lady pirates that Scalybeard decided to enlist for this mission, and so they will come back later. But yeah, so this is where we see the turtles basically getting back to the beginning of the story, where they're marching from the ship to find the treasure. And so they've all got shovels and pickaxes and things like that. So they're digging around, and all of a sudden this spaceship comes up that looks like the Enterprise and just starts shooting lasers. Like they land and they start shooting lasers at your boys. And the turtles are like, bye. No, we can't attack.
We don't have
lasers.
Weapons.
Yeah, we don't have weapons.
We're out. So
we're gone. And that's where we get to part 2. Now, do you want me to? I'll just continue this one. Okay. If that's cool with you. So So this is Tales of Alternate Turtles on the Moon part 2. So no need to recap because we just read it. But yeah, you get the turtles again surrounded by all of the interlopers, is what Captain Scalybeard refers to these people as, the people that arrived on the Enterprise type ship. And yeah, they're basically taking one step back and showing you that scene before the turtles take off. Yeah. And so yeah, the turtles take off and they end up going over a crater, and they find a bunch of skeletons and just bodies just lying around with some weapons. And they're like, oh, cool, we got some lasers now, so now we can fight back. But also there's a giant red X painted on the ground, which we all, at least in America, know this to mean that X marks the spot, which usually means that that's where the treasure is. And they
also make a X-Men joke.
Do they?
Where they say, because of the X, the big red X. One says, what do you suppose why they painted this big X here? Other one goes, maybe this was Danger Crater, the training ground for Teen Mutants.
Oh, I read that, and I got totally just lost on that. That's ridiculous. I'm embarrassed that I did not catch that. But yeah,
like a Danger Room reference.
Danger Room reference. There you go. So the turtles are very happy because they dig the hole where the X is, and they find a treasure chest, which I think happens very rarely, but enough to where it's in our fiction. So
I mean, if you do it though, that is enough to launch like 1 million missions though. Like
Isn't that
for like if
interesting?
one person finds treasure, that'll keep the treasure game going for another century at least.
Isn't that wild? Yeah,
That is weird.
It just takes one thing to actually happen, and then it just explodes.
Oh yeah.
So, the turtles take the treasure chest and they hotfoot it to the ship, the Jolly Death Trap, and they take off. They just leave Captain Scalybeard and all the other people behind, and he's like, "What?" Because at this point, Scalybeard's already, I believe he's already dealt with the interlopers, so the interlopers are all dead.
Yeah, they're finally getting them done. Yeah.
Yeah. So he decides, oh, guess what? I'm going to get their ship and follow suit. Toot sweet. And so he gets on there and takes after him. Then we cut back to the turtles. They end up using the laser gun to blast the lock off. And they find that what is in the treasure chest is not necessarily moon money of a particular sort, but it still is moon money, I guess, to some people. But it's actually just filled with tater chips, also known as potato chips. Yeah. And the turtles are like, this is weird. All of a sudden, Captain Scalybeard shows up on a monitor because he could just somehow tell that what was going on at the same time. And he's like, oh yeah, no, I knew about this. This is the plan all along. Like that's a valuable resource and I love them and I wanted to get them. And so
golden taters are the most coveted treasure in the galaxy.
Exactly. And so, because the turtles are thinking that, like, did he have us do this for just tater chips? So, so Scalybeard is just blasting at the dudes, and they decide to put all the tater chips from the treasure chest into a porthole, which is presumably like a weapon, like a cannon hole, and they launch it at the ship that Scalybeard is in. And so you just have a bunch of potato chips in space, flying at a spaceship in space. And so this happens, and they can't see because they think it's just space debris. So then you see the word blam, which presumably is the ship just wrecking itself. And then the turtles end up crashing the Jolly Death Trap back to Earth, and then they are seen enjoying the fruits of their labor with all of the lady pirates that were on board, as well as enjoying some chips and some grapes. And that is Turtles.
That's it.
Alternate Turtles on the Moon in space.
One of them says, those ninja guys get the glory, but we get the babes.
There you go. Can't ask for much more than that.
Yep.
So what'd you think of that?
It was pretty good. It was pretty good. It was fun.
Oh yeah.
The art was interesting. I do like the idea of like these alternate turtles who are like turtle backups.
Right.
But like they never get called and they're bored. And then I do like that idea. Yeah. And the moon money being potato chips is pretty funny.
That was pretty funny. I didn't see that coming at all.
Yeah, I was kind of like, what? The moon money? But yeah, they better be pretty good chips.
They better be for the moon. I wonder what being on the moon does to potato chips. Like, because potatoes are pretty hard to mess up. Like, you can do a lot of things with potatoes.
You freeze them. Basically, they get frozen.
Yeah, but I wonder if...
So I guess it like flash freezes them. So like maybe like when it basically preserves them. So when they get like thawed again, it's like, ooh, these tater chips, and they're basically like the day they were made.
Right.
I don't know.
And I wonder if there's the proximity to the sun being closer. I wonder if that radiation and without any atmosphere does something to the chips, like it just makes them glow or something like that. That'd be kind of neat.
Well, they were buried down in the regolith, so they probably avoided a lot of UV radiation.
Oh, that's true. The UV radiation. Yeah. But that would be wonderful if that's all the moon money was just that.
Tater chips?
Just potatoes.
God, I go all the way to the moon, get you the moon money, and then it's just potato chips?
It's just potato chips. Yeah.
They better be really good. They better be like the Witch. Salt and pepper potato chips or something. Like I'm telling they got to be really good.
Okay, so I was about to say sun chips because I think sun chips are probably one of the best chips.
The cheddar sun chips are good. Yeah. Regular sun chips are like regular Fritos, and I'm like, why does anyone eat those?
Interesting. Okay.
You like regular sun chips, just blue bag, just sun chips?
I think we usually get the garden variety, the garden salsa variety.
Oh, the garden. I haven't had those in a long time.
I'd revisit them if you get a moment, if you get a chance, because They're probably considered moon money worthy.
Oh, moon money
yeah.
worthy. That's high praise.
I mean, or at least they're in the running. They're at least up there. You know, I eat the whole bag, the whole thing, and
wow.
Yeah.
The salt and pepper chips from Witch
right
they're like a scarce resource because I never get to go there.
Mhm.
When I was playing X-Wing at the game shop a lot, Brad and I would go there for for dinner, and I would literally buy extra bags of chips. They're just supposed to be a side for like your sandwich, but I'd buy like 2 extra on their own and like hoard them in my truck.
Oh, geez.
So like they'd be like a late night snack. So we get done playing X-Wing,
Okay.
and then everyone would be kind of hungry and stuff, and I'd be out there bullshitting, talking, and I'd be like, open up that bag and be like, literally eating them like one at a time and like savoring their flavor. Like, every one of them. Yeah.
Now, did you lick your fingers too, and then put them back in there so that way people aren't asking for any?
Well, it was my little bag of chips. That's pretty much. I mean, you know, that's written on the outside.
If you had a jumbo bag of chips, do you think it would be okay to ask for, a chip? Or because based on size,
yeah. If it's a big bag of chips that's there for sharing, I think that's okay. But if someone has a personal bag of chips, you're gonna ask for a chip out of like a little bag of chips like that. That just feels like
it does.
My thing is like, what's one chip gonna do you? You know what I'm saying? Like that's why. If somebody asks me, oh, like if I, those little bags of Doritos where there's like 6 Doritos in there.
Yeah.
If I open up a little bag of Doritos and somebody busts out with like, can I have a Dorito? I'd be like, what is one Dorito going to do for you at all? For me, it's part of my Dorito snack. For you, it's just a tease.
Yeah.
You get one Dorito. What's that? The taste don't last long, and you're not going to get any sustenance really out of it. So what's the point? You just want it now. And that's why it's a no.
That's why it's a no. Yeah, that makes perfect
sense.
If
it's a big bag of chips, you better be sharing.
Do you think there's people that like they get a hotel room and they put somebody who does that, who asks for the one chip, they put them in the cuck chair, and then they just eat potato chips in front of them, but just a bunch of the little bags of potato chips.
Yeah,
and yeah, that's like a whole thing. I'm sure that is.
Well, if you really wanted to like do the cuck thing, you'd have to give them one at the start of it.
Oh, okay.
Like the first time you open the bag, you're like, "Here's a chip," and it's like one of the smaller like broken bit chips.
Right.
And then you're like, now I'm gonna eat all these chips.
Okay, that's fair.
Because you got the taste for that chip now, and now you ain't getting nothing else.
What if it's just like you don't give it to them, but you put it within reach on a table, and so then, this is getting weird.
Well, that starts to just get more like now you're just like torturing this person.
That's true.
Well,
speaking of torturing. A lot of times it's not just physical torture. Sometimes it's mental torture combined with physical torture. And that leads us to our next tale, if you will.
You're singing songs out of the Anthony Kiedis songbook here.
Oh my goodness. We got rapper Snaffariel.
Rapper Snaffiel? Like what? Are you like stroke happens, bro?
Yeah.
I think the kitty wants out. The kitty was in my room.
Okay.
And she was probably napping somewhere in here, and I shut the door.
And now she wants out.
Come here. You want to come here?
I'm with you.
Come up here. I want to show her to you guys.
Come is this Luna?
This is Luna.
Oh my goodness!
Look at that kitty.
Oh my goodness, that is the cutest cutie. Oh my goodness.
Yep. I think she was napping and she finally got up. You want to say something? No.
Oh my goodness. Look at that. That is just I
don't think she's been on the podcast before, has she?
I don't think she has. No. I don't think she has at all. That's just super cute. So
she's purring.
That's 2 of your 3 children that have been on
the
show.
audio listeners will be able to hear that little purr. The video can't. So that's what you get, audio listeners. You don't get to see Kitty, but you can come to YouTube and see Kitty.
Oh, absolutely. Now is she all black?
Yes.
What color are her toe beans?
Black.
Black? Okay. Yeah.
Which means, hey, you want to show toe beans?
Yeah. Do you want to give them a taste? Uh-oh. Look at that. Oh my goodness.
Black. She is all black. She has
This is like kitty
a
only
few
fans.
little white. She has like 3 white hairs on her chest,
Oh,
which is hilarious.
It's like
all right,
me.
she wants to get down. All right, Luna. See you there.
I'm glad I'm not the only one that does that.
Oh, I eat her up. It's like ridiculous.
Yeah.
It is classically a tale of like the dad who is like a cat. I don't know. And then all of a sudden, like I'm the one like, good morning, good morning. And it's so funny because Alicia will tease me like crazy because she's sitting out there working, and I'll be like, good morning, how are you today? And she's like, I'm good, how are you? And I'm like, I'm not talking to you.
Not talking to you. Yeah, I'm talking to the cat.
Do you want out? Give me one. I gotta let her out of the room.
No,
Give
go
me
for
1
it.
second.
Go for it. Yeah.
You're being a real pain in the butt, kitty.
Yeah. I forget what it was. I think it's the fur. I think it's if they have whatever their fur is, it matches their toe beans, I think. Because I think Cheeto is orange or pink.
I heard on Instagram, which, is the font of all knowledge, that if your cat has black toe beans, they're black. And if they have like any other toe beans, they're white. Racially.
Like people. Racially. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It was this like black lady. And she goes like, if your cat has black toe beans, she black. And I'm like, so then I checked hers. And I'm like, oh no, well, you are. It's a diverse household.
Yeah. But then you don't want to get into like what that means. You don't want to take that any further than that, because then you start getting into stereotypes that are like, wait a minute, I don't need to know.
Oh no,
it's like,
is it offensive? Is it? I called the other day. I got very passionate. I was talking about the cat. I was like petting her, and I called her my Nubian queen.
Oh my lord.
And yeah, because that's a reference to a short film I was involved in, and it's a whole thing. But anyway, I was like, is that offensive to call her that? Anyway.
If someone else
that was Luna. That was my kitty.
Yeah, that made my night. That was awesome.
There you go. That's where she is.
Yeah. All right. Well, where we're at is with Raphael Snapper.
Yes, Snapper. So this is Rick McCullum. Let me get the names right. Rick McCullum.
Richard Dean Anderson.
Richard Dean. They don't say his first name.
They don't say his first name, so it could be MacGyver.
And then Peter Laird. So yeah, it's funny because we open up with a very it has like a masthead. Like, I don't know why, but like the turtle with the little spikes, and then like the Raphael Snapper.
Yeah.
Like it just feels like it's its own comic, doesn't it?
It does. It absolutely does.
It's weird. But this story is kind of short but pretty funny. So it basically opens up with Raph, laid out, basically full on pulling that old Napoleon almost, laying on the couch.
On the couch.
Your boy has just eaten like 6 pizzas,
I believe.
Later on,
he ate 6.
Details keep coming out about how many pizzas, how many sodas, as the comic goes, because he has to kind of keep retelling it, and he keeps saying, this and that. But yeah, so he's been eating all these pizzas, and he's basically like, yeah, I should have scarfed down those pizzas, but if April had been home, I would have shared them. But I guess I'm out of luck because she's off, the gang's doing their own thing, she's off doing whatever, so I'm all alone. And then he's basically burping. He's like, I don't feel so hot,
Yeah.
Then he looks at, there's a little bowl, and inside there's a snapping turtle. And he's like, oh, who are you? And he's like, I can't imagine April having a turtle as a pet, given she has us to hang out with.
That would be very weird.
And it's very strange. And he grabs the snapper by the tail, and it comes up and bites his finger.
Yeah.
And he's like, ah. And then here's what he says: 6 pieces was probably too much. Maybe it was all the pepperoni. And all of a sudden, it's hard to explain. The turtle lands on the ground, starts to hiss. He starts talking. And the panels start fading out into black,
Raphael
which I think is pretty
Yeah.
cool. Yeah, Raphael's talking, and it just starts to fade out. And all of a sudden, this turtle is huge now.
Yeah,
he's gotten all big,
Kind of looks like Toka or Slash a little bit.
Yeah, Toka or Slash, and because Raph says why are you a creep? Which says are you a creep all the time? And that was before he passed out. And now he comes back I'm a creep all the time. My attitude is in my body, is in my soul. And I'm nasty for the same reasons you can be. And I think what's really remarkable about this art is that Raph and any background elements are drawn and colored traditionally.
Yeah.
It appears as if the snapping turtle is drawn and colored digitally.
Yes.
So that's how they make him seem like he's not really like the same like medium as the real world, which I think is actually a really cool technique.
Oh, definitely.
Do you see what I'm talking about? It's like
Yeah.
even his lines and shading are obviously computer colored.
Yeah.
So it seems like they almost did the art from mixed media from the start, where they drew out and colored Raph and the environments, and then he was like inserted into it. It's just very interesting.
I feel like he was probably drawn, but then colored digitally.
Maybe. Well, I think he was inked digitally too.
Yeah, that too. Yes.
So he could have been penciled in.
That's what
I'm
saying.
Everything after pencils is digital.
Yeah.
Whereas Raph is
just traditional,
all the way up.
Yeah.
Traditional. Yeah. Which is just interesting. And again, this is 91 when these trappings were very new and very experimental. But I love it.
And these turtles, this Raphael reminds me of like indie books for some, not just Mirage, because Mirage is an indie book, but like I don't know, there's like superhero, there's some sort of weird, obscure, probably now owned by DC superhero that like it might have been the Authority. I don't know exactly, but it's one of those books that you've heard about. But some reason the art with Raphael is just reminiscent.
Yeah. No, it is not Mirage style art. It is
something else.
Definitely something that was later acquired by DC, because it has the Wildstorm feeling to it a little bit too.
Yeah.
Not Wildstorm, but you're right. It's like almost like Brian Hitch on the Authority, maybe. I don't know. Either way, it does have that feeling, which makes it look cool. But yeah, like this scary dude is whipping Raph's ass, saying like, "We are of the scaly race. The bite is in our blood. The violence is soaked into our shells." And he's just giving him basically a TED talk on like how you are a little bitch. Like you evolved up and you sit around eating pizzas and eating trash food, but you've forgotten what it is to be like an actual like reptile like in this world.
Right.
So you suck, more or less. And he says, "You eat the weak fast food, you've forsaken your heritage." He bites his head off.
Yeah.
And then as a parting shot says,
"Oh, so good.
Pizza is no substitute for blood."
No substitute for blood. Oh.
And you're like, what? And then you flip the page, and it turns out your boy was having like, I guess like the king of all like night terrors.
Right.
Like he passed out from eating all the Million D pizzas, but also started like fighting this thing in his sleep, and like tore the damn apartment up. Like everything's jacked. April comes in with that new do, and she's like, "What happened to my living room?" And he's just like, "Oh, it must have been the pepperoni. There's a monster." And she's like, "All right, look, I got this little turtle." And she's like, he's like, "What?" And she's like, "Yeah, did you hurt him?" He's like, "No, what?" And she's like, basically like, "Look, buddy, I want you to go back to your sewer dojo and come back with a certain rare martial arts tool."
Right.
And he's like, "What?" And she's like, "A broom," and like kicks his ass out. And then the last panel is the little guy, the little snapper in his bowl, and he says, "Heh."
One thing I love is that April's petting the turtle, and the turtle's giving the heart balloons. That's so good. And also
it's almost like, oh, he wouldn't hurt a fly. He's so sweet, and you're an asshole. So get out of here.
And this is decidedly not a white April, by the way.
No.
And this is
no. Here's 90s. What I love. The indie artists that they work with, they'll understand that if TMNT was in color, April wouldn't have been white.
Right.
Like these are all guys that are adjacent. They know that she's black, if not like mixed heritage black. Yeah. Like she's obviously not white.
Right.
And it's cool because in color you can see it, which I think is great. But yeah, I just love that misconception. It comes a lot, obviously, from like the 87 series where everybody was whitewashed.
I can understand how they thought that, but then but there's obviously text and then this and then other resources that show that.
Well, what's rough too, and Kevin admits as much in his notes, is like his faces weren't great.
Yeah.
So it was hard to show April having like the features of a black woman.
Right.
I think
Right.
for him, it's like all people's faces look kind of blocky and
Like in
like
his
the
drawing.
same.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like all he was good, all he could really like show her like heritage was like the new do.
Mm-hmm.
But I think a lot of people thought that was just a perm,
Right.
which a lot of women got back then. Like
Oh,
it's
yeah.
not just, you know, black women. So yeah,
Right.
it's interesting. But no, I do like that. I love her like outfit. Looks really great.
Mm-hmm.
And it's neat. But yeah, then the minute kind of that like the big villain is over, it's all traditional coloring, traditional
Yeah.
art, and stuff like that. So I thought it was pretty cool. I like how it touches again on that theme, which Mirage has touched on a lot, which is, you know, again, the river and different things where it's basically like you are like reptiles, you're cold-blooded, but you've evolved kind of past your roots, and you
Right.
need to be reminded of your roots.
Ooh. Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's a theme that they really carry through a lot of different artists' work on the TMNT series. And this is like almost like a bite-sized version
Yeah.
of that message. And love the mixed media art. Especially two characters in it and it sharing, you know, several pages of scenes where one is absolutely digital and one is absolutely traditional. That's just such a cool way to create contrast between the two characters.
Oh, absolutely. One thing I don't know if you mentioned this, and I didn't notice it either, is that when she's talking, when she bursts in, you're gonna be you're gonna be, if you can't talk fast. Did you hurt little snapper or whatever? And it has the skull and crossbones in her
Yes.
in her text bubble.
Like
That's
in
fantastic.
her text bubble.
Yeah. I
Yes,
love
that's
that.
really good. Yeah, because he says, "What? I'm not dead," and she's like,
Yeah,
"You're gonna be
that's what it
dead
is.
if you can't talk. Like, you better
Right.
explain what happened." You know,
Um.
and
So
yeah, pretty great.
the other thing that I think is neat is that the last issue, if I'm not mistaken, ended in a similar way where a motherly figure comes in and finds someone has wrecked an entire room through having some sort of not well in that issue it was a kid that was pretending to play with his toys, but having a, you know, using his imagination. This is Raphael having a similar thing.
That was the last story in Turtle Suit Book 1. It's Turtle Power by Rich Heaton and Tom McWeeny.
Okay, so yeah,
it's the one you're referencing.
This one has similarly. There we go, got it.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
work it through.
And so yeah, I kind of like that. I don't know if that was by design or not, but
No, that is
pretty neat.
interesting. It's somebody who had like illusions or was using their imagination, and they get caught and a room is trashed.
Right.
Yeah, no, you're right. Because I had the book up, volume 1, just in case, or sorry, book 1, in case I needed a little more help on this. So basically, for the Turtles attack story,
Right.
so I was able to pull it up, and I still love the ending of that.
Yeah,
comic,
no, it was great.
where he was playing with everything. That's really cool. But
And
yeah,
I love
this is
too.
this is really cool. And again, yeah, the art is like, I'd read this.
Yeah. Oh
like,
yeah.
like I'd read this. I would read this at as just in art and style if it was a series where the villain was digital and everything else was traditional. I'd love that book. I'd read that book with this April and this whole vibe. Yeah.
What if, like, remember what was it? Right before City at War with Casey, how he had the
Shades of Grey,
where they had the giant monster Casey. Like, what if that was something similar to like this thing that gets a benevolent being that's like going around and doing that? Like, that'd be I'd read that all day.
Oh, that'd be kind of crazy because yeah, Raph, it would be like in kind of like Raph's head.
Yeah.
But like there's evidence that it's out of Raph's head.
Right.
And you don't totally know what's going on. Oh, that'd be really cool.
Oh,
Yeah.
I think so
yeah,
too.
I would love it. I'd read, especially with the coloring in this book is very vivid and really gets like, I don't know, you know, if you're a comic nerd, you know how this feels. You get excited.
Right.
By like the look and the color and the art. You start going like, oh, I'm gonna love this book.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, and getting that feeling of a short story is, it's kind of like constantly, it's kind of like short and sweet though. Cause you're kind of like, oh, but this is just this story, this short story. Like, this isn't a full like arc, like a 10 or 12 issue run. It's just like this, you know. Right. But I really liked it.
Yeah, I did too. So out of all these stories,
you ready to rank them?
Oh, yeah, I just took my notes down. Dang. So let me bring them back up. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60, 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, 66, 67, 68, 69, 70, 71, 72, 73, 74, 75, 76, 77, 78, 79, 80, 81, 82, 83, 84, 85, 86, 87, 88, 89, 90, 91, 92, 93, 94, 95, 96, 97, 98, 99, 100, 101, 102, 103, 104, 105, 106, 107, 108, 109, 110, 111, 112,
Yeah, I'm getting the list of the different issues ready.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, so we gonna go like 1 to how many stories are there? There's 5. Sorry, there's 6 stories. And do we make
Yes.
alternate Turtles on the Moon in part 2? Is that just one story?
That's just one story.
So there's 5 individual stories. And just to review, there's Velveeta, which is kind of the follow-up to Toyota, where he gets the monster fish. And there's Mid-Afternoon of the Living Dead with
Abner Cadaver.
Abner Cadaver, and the whole zombie storyline. There's Turtles. There's Turtles Attack Part 2, which is again just a continuation of the Turtles Fight Dinosaurs.
Mm-hmm.
There's alternate Turtles on the Moon with the Moon Money, and then there's Snapper, Raphael Snapper.
Oh, this is tough.
So, what would you say your number 1 would be?
Number 1.
Yeah. Well, or do you want to go worst to first?
Let's do worst to first. Worst to first is best.
Okay.
Worst to first. So yeah, worst story. I think it's just gonna have to be. Unfortunately, it's Turtles Attack Part 2.
Agree.
There's not
totally
much there.
agreed.
There's just not. The others brought
not a lot on the
so
bone.
much. Yeah, and it's just kind
of they basically fight the dinosaurs, and there's kind of like one funny moment where Leo's just openly writing the Diplodocus, like just because, and getting called out for it. That's funny, but regardless of that, it feels like not enough on the bone.
Exactly.
For that one, I agree. I think Turtles Attack is obviously number 5.
Yeah, definitely think that. What's your number 4?
My number 4. I will give my number 4 to Velveeta.
Oh,
I loved the coloring and the art, especially on Matchstick.
Yeah.
I loved it. But I think the other comics are a little better for me.
Okay.
Like a little bit better.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's gonna be my number 4.
Yeah,
How about you?
I can agree with that, but it's a toss up between that and alternate Turtles on the Moon.
Okay.
Yeah,
I see that they're close down there.
Yeah. It's one of those two for number 4 or number 3 for me.
Okay.
So yeah.
Okay. So you gotta pick one though.
I know.
For number 4. Then.
Let's just do it. Let's keep it simple. So yeah, so that'll be number 4 is the same one as you.
Velveeta.
Velveeta.
Okay. I think we're gonna disagree maybe toward the end here.
Yeah.
So what is your number 3?
Number 3 is definitely alternate Turtles on the Moon. It was fun, but it's different. But it kept going. Like it didn't slog. Like it didn't really kind of keep you bogged down necessarily. But and there was a lot more there than there was for the other 2 stories that we already had. So or that we already ranked. So so that kind of put it up there a little bit higher for me. But yeah, it's definitely going to be that one.
I hate to copy, but I'm in the same boat. I think that alternate Turtles on the Moon was middle of the pack in every way. You know, we got 2 parts of it, so in a little bit, you'd almost be like, well, that's almost unfair,
right?
Because it was like kind of the bulk of the book, like
it was,
but it didn't do enough. I'll put it this way: it wanted to be really zany, but if it was Heedon and McWeeny,
it'd have been
crazy.
Nuts. Yeah,
It would have been my number 1 book because I love those guys.
Right.
It was zany, but like also toned down. Yeah, and I felt like it was cool, but the zany didn't kick up enough for me for what it kind of was, which was supposed to be really bizarre.
Right.
And it didn't quite get there for me.
No, I agree. So, what's your number 2?
I think it's going to be Mid-Afternoon of the Living Dead.
All right. Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, it just comes in just below the number 1. I love the horror-inspired art.
Yeah.
And the Advar Cadaver, is that his name? Abner Cadaver.
Cadaver.
I liked it and stuff like that. I think it was a cool story for sure.
Yeah. No, I agree, and I think that would be my number 2 as well, only because it feels like an adventure story. Like it feels like
it does actually.
Abner Cadaver was actually real, like a real character in the comics universe.
Yeah.
I could see this happening in adventures, like without question, and I would absolutely love that. But
it would also be more built out.
Oh,
at the same
definitely.
time.
Definitely.
I think that Mid-Afternoon of the Living Dead actually has a lot more meat on the bone it wasn't able to do.
Yeah.
And that's might be why it's number 2 for me. I think we're on the same page here because like you said, an issue of Tales.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Like stretch it out. It'd be great. It's almost the shortness of its entry in Turtle Soup actually hurts it a little bit.
Oh,
There's
absolutely.
not I want some more of that.
Right.
You know, like you're saying, like either Abner Cadaver is an actual character or he's the one telling you this story. Like instead of the turtle saying like, you know, let me tell you a tale.
Right.
It's him. You know, like let me tell you this tale.
Right.
But I think it just needs a little more room to be as great as it can be.
Yeah, if it had more tarmac, it could have taken flight, but you know it didn't.
That's what it is. Short runway.
Yep.
Too short.
But what's there is still fun, and I enjoyed it, and
Yeah.
I definitely want to see more of him. So and more turtle stories like that. Like I love them in the horror genre, so that's really neat. And then number 1 has to be what is it called again? Raphael Snapper. Yeah, I just think that it has a lot of the hallmarks that make Kevin and Peter Mirage, and even a touch of the guest era, but still rooted in the early Mirage days. And yeah, I think the art was neat and the story was cool, but for being very short, even at that, it definitely delves into the psyche of the turtles and also the consequences of their being juveniles essentially.
Yes.
Like I love that. That's fantastic, and it was just really well
I like
done.
that too.
And that it's kind of thing that you come to a Turtles book for, and so that's what I would give it the number 1 spot.
I think I agree. I think the big thing is I think it knew the assignment.
Yeah,
It knew how long it had to be. So it winds up being a really thought-provoking comic, but then also funny. So it kind of it all works out. But I agree with everything you said.
Yeah.
I think it's clearly the most superior, like the superior comic of these like 5 stories.
Definitely. Well, let us know what you think in the comments or
Let us.
email us, turtlesoupshow@gmail.com. You can let us know what your thoughts are on this, your ranking on these stories and this issue, and even the last one if you want to. You can do that, turtlesoupshow@gmail.com. You can also find us on the home of the internet, turtlesoupshow.com. We got all our episodes up there. And yeah, we should be wherever podcasts are listened to or downloaded from or whatever. And if we're not, let us know and we'll see what we can do to get on there, because we've had to do some finagling in recent years to keep things afloat. But I think we're all good there. And then you can follow us on the socials. We post weird random stuff occasionally, and that's always fun. And join the Facebook group, because that's where all the cool Turtletarians are, and they're hanging out, posting cool stuff. We got a lot of cool artists that are in there showing off their work, and then people are finding things. Some bozo posts his reviews on the Turtles action figures occasionally, and so that's kind of fun.
Yeah, sometimes.
Sometimes.
Some monkey posts is on there.
Oh no,
don't do reviews.
No, don't do it. Don't do it. But yeah, so we're doing that. And then if you want to help us keep the lights on and keep everything functioning and help me get a new monitor, apparently, you can head over to patreon.com, find Turtle Soup's Done Been Making a Podcast for a Billy. And we do some cool stuff. We give you some cool things. You got access to like 100 and something episodes of our No Homework Zone podcast. And and I just finally got the shirts ordered for the first part of 2024, because I'm way behind. So they're coming in pretty soon, and I'll have all that shipped out, and then I'll try to get the second half of the year shipped out soon as well. So
let's go.
Lots of cool stuff like that. And then if there's something you want to see from our Patreon, like if there's an idea that you got that we could do that would you'd like to hear or see us, kind of have an exclusive content thing, then definitely let us know. Again, turtlesoupshow@gmail.com. And then, like I said at the beginning, we got probably one more episode of this. And then hopefully by then I can wrangle my dad for the following episode with MGM. No promises there, but we'll see. And before long, we're going to be back in the year 2000. And if we start that, we'll have to do the Conan O'Brien thing back in the day.
Oh, absolutely. The year 2000 thing. Yeah, the year 2000.
Oh, real quick. So that reminds me that so I got... for Christmas, I had offhandedly told my mom that like we needed some flashlights, just some little ones that, Harbor Freight throws at you when you're driving by their
Oh, yeah.
store. So at Christmas I open up like this giant box of just 6 flashlights, and then I get my sister's present from me, and it's another flashlight. It's a little one. I was like, oh, another one. Thanks.
Got a lot of them.
Yeah, this one can clip on. This one's got a clip, and yeah, it was neat. But I had
then you and Shannon get out the door, and you were like, I said fleshlight.
Fleshlight. Yeah, Mom she never goes to the websites I send her. But the whole time I'm there, I'm having to make my sister feel good about her choice, so I'm using the flashlight for things that I don't need to use it for. So I'm like, where is it? And
let me look in here.
Yeah. Anything you can't find, let me look. Let me illuminate that.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
That was pretty funny. But yeah. Well, speaking of things that are funny, it's funny that we got to get out of here. No, that didn't work. But anyway, hey, we are gonna get out of here, and I need to. Again, I'm on my back foot. Dang. All right.
Yeah.
So thanks again, everybody. Thanks again to all the patrons that keep the lights on and all that. We really appreciate you. And
absolutely.
Email us turtlesoupshow@gmail.com with the Turtles Come Out and Fight That's. Them's the rules.
Bring them.
Shell shocks, whatever you got. Throw them our way. And until then, else time. And we're back.
Yeah.
Woo.
Way earlier in the chat, I wanted to shout out that M said he has the Beastie Boys Cookie Puss single on 45, and that's awesome. Have you ever heard Cookie Puss?
No, not that I know of.
It's one of their first singles, and I think it might have been their first single, and it's just them prank calling this like cookie ice cream store named Cookie Puss, and they're just asking for Cookie Puss.
Yeah.
And it's just got all this like kind of like hardcore punk rock music underneath it, and like they're just like trying to call it Cookie Puss, and that's like Cookie Puss.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, it's pretty great.
That is pretty great.
So I know about that Cookie Puss.
Dang.
M did also drop the potential episode title, "Old Abner Cadaver and Them Crying Zombie Boys." So I wanted to bring that to the fore. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, definitely. I'd second that. I think we're gonna probably go with that. M said something about earlier in the chat too. He said, "Oh man, Eric, someday I got to tell you about stories. I got to tell you stories about working in the studio with girls who worked at the strip club. One of them moonlit as a dom, and some great food based stories." So yes, I eagerly anticipate those stories. Yeah. Oh man. So yeah, I think that I can't think of really anything else. We did talk about the moon money
Yeah,
a
it's
little
not
bit.
often you get moon money in a Turtles comic, but
That's
we
true.
got there.
But we got there. So that's good enough for me. But there's that and
Em said, "Whoa, White April, bam, balam." When we were talking about
oh,
White
yeah.
April versus Black April and everything like that.
Yeah.
Pretty funny. Whoa, White April, bam, balam.
I'm not
Got
sure
a
that I
brand new being.
Oh,
Brand new
okay.
do.
That's a song.
Bam, balam.
Okay. Okay.
Oh, Black Betty. You never heard that?
I have. I guess I just didn't put the two together. I guess
Oh, okay.
I didn't hear it right. So yeah. I think I don't think we're going to be able to top that.
Yeah, I think the old Abner Cadaver.
And
Because we got to get as many of those in as we can.
Exactly. Old Abner
Like
Cadaver.
the Colonel Booter and the Crying Indian Boy. I mean, that needs to happen as much as possible.
Oh yeah.
It's been a while.
It's a legacy.
Yeah.
What was the last one that we did? I wonder if I can find that out.
It was
really
kind
quick.
of rough.
Yeah.
Is there that one or the one before where we were like, can we do that?
Right.
Whoa, Black Betty.
Let's see. I'm checking our YouTube channel real quick. Let's see if I can find it because I don't remember at all. So the last episode we did was Lord Simultaneous and the Gauntlet Horse.
I think that was probably it.
So that was a stretch. But it definitely you know, it kind of, it might be close to that. But oh man.
So M did drop maybe old Colonel Cadaver for the alliteration win. Like the alliterative win on that.
Old Colonel Cadaver. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Maybe. I do appreciate that, but I don't know. I still think
Abner.
I still think Abner. I kind of like keeping it.
That is his whole name.
That is his whole name. But I appreciate the effort in trying to.
Yeah, I mean, like it's always a work in progress. M, really fast before we do the episode name and sign off. Did you get that hat steamed? You gotta tell me in chat. Did you get that hat? Did that hat steam work out? You got your cowboy hat right? You make sure your wallet wasn't in there.
Oh my goodness, the wallet! I forgot about that.
To fill in the hat box. The hat is steamed and blocked. Yes, sir. That's what I'm looking for.
It's been a while since we've done a one of these, apparently, or at least from what I can tell. Just perusing the old catalog, but
okay, so it's been a little bit since we've done that.
Yeah, so I think we're good to go. I mean, but if you don't count the last month's episode, but
sure.
Yeah. All right. Do you want to run it, or do you want me to?
Got a little dandy crook to it. That sounds great, Em. I'm all about that. That hat's got a little crook, a little dandy crook.
What's a crook?
You need to post the hat that he steamed. It's got a little crook to it, like a little pop up.
Oh, like on the side, like a little.
Yeah, we need a picture of that in the group.
Yes, please do. We need visuals.
Yeah, maybe once it's like blocked. Maybe once you take the blocking off and it's dry, and once it's set, you know what I mean. Let us know. Yeah. So old Abner.
Old Abner Cadaver.
Put a little Roosevelt on it. That's really good.
Let's see. Old Abner Cadaver
old
Abner
Cadaver and them crying zombie boys.
And the crying zombie boys.
Yeah. You know, I always do that. How about you do this one?
All right, I think I got it. Abner Cadaver. Abner.
Old Abner Cadaver.
Coors.
And remember, you gotta have that fall off, like where it ends in almost like a I don't give a shit. And them old crying zombie boys.
Crying zombie boys.
Yeah, like that tail off is important to the delivery.
Oh, it has to be. Yeah.
All right, you ready?
I think so. I think I'm all lubed up.
Lubed up. Just wet my whistle a
Where
little
my
bit.
wishers?
Where, I'm gonna put you in the hospital. This is Turtle Soup, episode 329.
Old Abner Cadaver and the crying zombie boys. That's it. It's so
You
hard when you're so
You got it.
Old Abner Cadaver and the crying zombie boys. Yeah, okay, got it.
Well, you remember like when I mean, there was ones that were so ridiculous I'd like write them down.
Oh yeah,
Where I read them because like they were either too weird or too funny, and I knew I wouldn't be able to get through it out of memory.
I'm writing it down now.
Yeah.
Well, technically, I'm typing.
Some I just got to see it on the page, man.
Yeah, crying.
M wants you to go full blast with it, easy, just full blast.
All right, I'm gonna try to
just let it rip. In other words,
Old Abner Cadaver and the crying zombie boys.
Yeah, okay. Something. Yep.
Okay, something like that.
All right, you ready?
Got it.
This is Turtle Soup, episode 329.
Old Abner Cadaver and the crying zombie boys. I got a little Jess Harley.
You gave it a lot. You gave it a lot of Jess Harley. Oh, Abner Cadaver.
Like that one, I didn't mean
to.
Oh,
Abner Cadaver.
It's just once I did that first dip, I was like, I guess I got to do it again. When I did the dip, we did, you know.
Now sip your sweet tea is what it is. You want to give it one more go? So you have like one more alternate to choose. Okay.
One more go, and then I got a question. I got to ask you about this thing I forgot about.
All right. Here we go.
All right.
Oh yeah. Here we go. This is Turtle Soup, episode 200. Nope. Absolutely not. Not back in time. This is Turtle Soup, episode 329.
Old Abner Cadaver and the crying zombie boys.
That's good. That's a good. You have a selection now.
Yeah, we
old Jess Harley. You can. There's whatever you want to do.
Yeah, my freestyle, your style, my style. Yeah,
your style.
Well, speaking about my style, I forgot to tell you this, and I wanted to kind of get your opinion. We don't have to linger long on this, but
okay.
The other day, so my wife and I, Shannon, my wife, we decided that we weren't really going to do too much for Christmas because we got a lot going on and not a lot of money and stuff. So, but I decided that I was going to go and buy her the biggest jug of Kraft black paint, like not Kraft cheese, but like for crafts, and at Michael's. So I went to our local Michael's and and so I'm well, I'll just go ahead and tell you this part of the story. So I go in there and I get I'm like, oh, there's like a 16 ounce. And I'm like, okay, this got just a bigger lid and it's fine. And it doesn't squirt out. You just have to pour it out. Well, then I look to the right and I see that there's like a 32 ounce. I'm like, okay. And it's got the similar thing, except actually, no, it's it's like a soda lid, like a 2 liter.
Oh, like a 2 liter. Hell yeah.
And it's like that. 32. And I'm like, oh, problem is the plastic felt a little bit, like it didn't feel sturdy like the smaller ones do because they're more compact.
Oh, because it's too like floppy kind of.
Yeah, like you could squeeze it, you could bend it and stuff. And
yeah.
So I wasn't having that. So I was like, so I was going back for it. Then I saw a 64 ounce jug of black Kraft paint.
Yes,
dude, it's got a pump. It's got like the little like the bathroom soap like at someone's house,
like almost like Gojo, like have a Gojo thing. Yes,
yeah. And
my God, that's perfect.
Oh, and with my coupon, bro, it was about the same price as any of the other stuff I was gonna get. So I'm like, oh, this is no deal or no brainer. So so I got her that, and it was hilarious. And when she opened it, it was fantastic. Like when somebody opens something and you can tell that all the facial muscles are laughter, but there's no sound coming out. That's when you know you've done it.
That's when you put them. You put them on hush chuckle.
On hush chuckle, yes.
Yeah, you get that hush chuckle going. It's like
yeah.
Hit the pause button on that breathing for a minute. Yeah,
that's exactly what happened. So
Good.
So backing up.
Back up.
I pull in, and the traffic's horrible. This parking lot's notorious for being bad, especially the day before Christmas. And there's a kid there that sees that I think he works for Winn-Dixie, which is in the same plaza. And I'm kind of parked in their what would be considered their parking lot, but it's all shared. And so he thinks that I'm going into Winn-Dixie. So he's like, hey, do you want a shopping cart or do you want a basket? And I'm like, no, I'm good. I'm going this way. I'm going to Michael's. And he goes, oh, well, can you do me a favor and throw this away for me? And he shows me a cup of like that he probably found in the cart. And I just look at him and go, no, thanks. And I just keep going.
Oh, shit.
I was like, no, thanks.
No, I'm good.
No, I'm good. Nah.
That guy actually said, like, would you throw this if you're going into another store? Would you throw this cup away?
Right. And I am like,
this was a grocery store employee who said this.
Yes, I believe he was out getting carts. I think the background is probably he was out getting carts and he found a cup in a cart. So he was collecting them and stuff. And then he thought I was going to need a cart. But then whenever he decided, or I told him I wasn't, he's like wanting me to throw away this piece of trash that I have no idea what's in it. I have no idea if it's just filled with dip.
It's funny. What's really funny about that is like if you were a Winn-Dixie customer, he's like, oh, paper or plastic. Like he's all over.
Yeah.
But if you're not,
right,
he's like, all right, well, if you're not an employee, if you're not coming into our store, if you're not a customer, could you do me a solid man-to-man and throw this mystery cup away?
Yeah. It could be full of COVID, like I'm saying. Yeah, like I don't know. Like
that's that COVID cup, son. No, that's got that old dirty insulin in it, bro. Like I don't want any part of that.
Like
shit.
it could be filled with piss. Yeah. Like it's Schrodinger's piss. Like I don't know. Schrodinger's piss, not Chekhov's piss, because you'd have to see Chekhov's piss before.
Chekhov's piss it would come back to you later.
Right.
It'd have to you. Yeah.
Chekhov's piss. So yeah. So and mind you, I am in the middle of the parking lot. I'm not near a garbage can. I'm not like, oh, let me grab this and put it just an arm's reach away. Like I would have to carry it all. Like I would be holding on to this thing
all the way into Michael's. Be looking for a garbage can for the COVID cup
because I don't know that. Yeah, I don't know where they are in that area if they're even using And so I just was like thinking about that. I was like, I wonder what somebody else would do in that situation because there's the part of you that and I don't know if it's a Southern thing. I don't know if it's just a general human thing, but you kind of want to. You're just agreeable. You're just, or
you're borderline gonna try to do somebody a solid at any time. Like it's kind of a standing yes when someone asks you, like, oh, could you help me with this?
Right, like a humanitarian kind of thing.
Yes,
on some infinitesimal.
It takes a lot. It takes a lot to bend it out and be like, no, I will not. No.
But at the same time, I also think that that's just my natural reaction to anyone in public that asks me anything. It's just default. Just nope, thanks. And just keep walking. Like
that's a lot of the people trying to give you flyers. A lot of the people. I mean, they usually when you're outside, if you're being asked something, you're being like accosted for some reason.
And there's this little part of me that wanted to feel bad about it, but I just can't. Like I'm like, no, I think.
I mean, it starts with him. That starts with him.
Thank you. Yes,
that's goddamn weird.
It is.
Like that's like that time I told that kid he was fucking weird at the comic shop. Like he deserved the same treatment. Like,
oh yeah.
If he said something like, if you said no thanks, you're like, he's like, okay, buddy, whatever. I'd be like, I turn around and be like, no, do you know what you just did?
Right. Yeah.
That's fucking weird. No. Right. No.
And I'm just like, but then I start thinking, I'm like, but what if it was Schrodinger's piss? Like the piss that's in there, or I'm sorry, Chekhov's piss. Like, and I was thinking like, what if I, like, so my brain starts playing into scenarios that what could have happened. And if I didn't throw it away, what I would have done if he would have thrown it on me? You know what I'm saying? And like,
I think Chekhov's piss would work really well. If it'd be like, you saw him with a cup of piss. And he's like, would you throw this away? And you're like, no. So now it's Chekhov's piss.
Right.
So then you go into Michael's. You do everything you got to do. You come outside. He's like still messing with the carts.
Right.
But it's like Chekhov's piss is in that cup in the cart with him. Then he goes to pick it up, like he's gonna go inside, throw it away. Someone sticks him up. They're like, "Put your hands up! Give me all your fucking money!" And he throws the cup of piss, and it goes on you. Like
Oh.
yeah, like Chekhov's piss, because it's like now that you know there's a cup of piss, it's gotta come into play at some point.
Right.
It would come into play in the most unexpected way, which is like you're on the way out,
Right.
and then it's like, here's piss.
What had been great in that story is if he was getting held up, and then I take the piss, and I throw it on the gunman, and then that causes him to run away, and then I throw the cup away, and that would have been how Eric comes out and fights that.